Hi guys. I got a Meeden watercolor paint set that I am going to cut open and restock some of my favorite paints. Have you guys seen this? There's like a bunch of them. They have different companies selling them, but this is just the cutest, and it's actually a blind box. Isn't that the cutest? I just can't. I saw it, I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't need it, but there are so many things I don't need that I get anyways. But yeah, I had to share. Look at it. It's like perfect. All right. So let's see this little guy here. I shouldn't have put it back in this box. Hold on. I'm just gonna pull these out. It's just easier right now. Is there something else in here? I think there's more paints in here. Oh my God, there's so many. I forgot this is a 48. That's a lot of paint. That's a lot of paint. Okay, so I don't know if I really want to swatch. You guys know I don't like swatching, but maybe it's worth it. Let's pin this so everybody can see it. It is currently on sale today. The 48 that I'm looking at right now is $20. It's normally $35. And shipping is free after 30. So you would still pay for shipping unless you got something else, which that's easy enough to do. Just get a nice pad of paper. Okay. So let's just, problem with swatching is that there's just so much to swatch. Like I almost just need to swatch right out of the tube so you guys can see it. And then I will reload my pan here in a second. And the paper that I'm gonna use, probably just gonna use my Meeden paper. Since it is Meeden paint, that would make sense. Let me just find a Meeden paper pad, because I know I've got some Meeden paper pads laying around. This one? Yep, we're gonna use this one. So much paint. So much paint. Okay. Let's see here. I am also going to be using my Meeden brushes because everything for Meeden is on sale right now. And I've got these ones. So this is the 48 set. Turn my music off. It's distracting me. There's like too many things going on in the back room with the kids and with all this. Okay, so I'm in love with this for the greens. I mean, look at all these greens. There's so many. There's yellowish green, pale green, mid green, viridian green, sap green, deep green, phthalo green, olive green. I might just swatch all of those right now, and then we'll see how I feel after. Now, if I were gonna do a good swatch, I would put this on a palette, but I'm lazy and don't really feel like doing that. So we are just gonna swatch right out of the tube on the paper and then just wash off every time. So we'll start light though. This is yellowish green. I'm interested in seeing how this goes because if you guys know anything about about tube paints in general, they're usually pretty expensive. They can range anywhere from $19 a tube of this size anyways to, I don't know, I would say $45 a tube. And this whole set is, what did I say it was? I need to look up. Hold on. I think I said it was $20. Yeah, the 48 color set right now is $24 or $20. I'm sorry. It was originally $34. Okay. So I'm just going to go through. I think I'm just going to do hearts. Hearts is easy. Just going to go in like this. And then if we want to make them leaves later, we can. My water is not super clean. Hey, Mags, could you do me a favor? Yeah. Could you fill my water with clean water? Sure. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Oh. I should have done that to start, and then I didn't realize I was going to swatch, and then I realized my swatching could be impacted by the dirty water, and I don't want that to happen. But yeah, this is a 12 milliliter. Usually, just to give you a comparison, this is a Daniel Smith. This is a 15 milliliter, and this would probably sell for potentially anywhere from 15 to 20 just for this. And this whole set of 48 is 20. So just to give you a contrast comparison. If you want to lean into the tube paints, this is a really great deal. I do have the pan as well, where everything is pre-loaded. Maggie, there's not a lot of water in here, but okay, that's fine. It's fine. I can show you that too. This is the pre-loaded pans with all the half pan paints in them. I'm going to open it so you can see how much I love it. But you can see this one has, let's see, 48 as well. And the price on this one, let me just check so you guys know the difference between the two. This one's $20 as well for the pans. You get more paint in the tubes though. Like this is, you can see how much I love this paint. Like I'm going to refill that today, but you get more paint in the tubes than you do get in the pans. But this is more convenient than a tube paint is, just to be clear on the difference between the two. Okay, so we've got this one. Let's go, we're just going to go right in a row. We'll just see how it goes. This one is pale green. And again, I'm just swatching right out of the tube. If you've got someone in your life that you know is going to want to potentially dip their toe in the watercolor field, this is a great set to get to start. Like it's a good gift for someone, especially with the holidays coming around the corner. And I think Prime Days were this week. It was a good time to get a deal. I think there's only one more day left on this one. I'm just going to go back in here one more time, just to make it a little bit more cohesive. Here we go. Okay. And again, this whole row is just greens mostly. And then when I'm done here swatching out this row, I think I'm going to paint some leaves for you guys. So if you're willing to stick around, I'll show you in real time how I paint some maple leaves, because those can be some hard ones. This one is mid-green, by the way. So this has definitely got more of a, I don't know, leprechaun kind of green color, Kelly green. And we'll pull that down just like that. Okay. I don't love swatching, but I do think there is value in it. This one is Viridian. And again, I'm doing the more convenient version of swatching rather than like pouring this out onto a palette and paying attention to your transparencies. I don't love swatching to begin with, and I don't want to fill up a whole palette with 48 paints and then only use some of them. Okay, this one is sap green. I should probably label these at some point. That would probably be a good idea. Hi, Janster. Hi, friend. Hi, Alexis. This one is sap green. This is the one I love. I love this paint so much. It's so pretty. This one I could afford to lift a little bit more, just so you can see a little bit more of the transparency. I went down pretty heavy on that one. Okay, move this over so you guys can see that. We're just swatching a little bit. And then after this, I'm going to do some leaves. This one is deep green. Again, this set, if you're in the States, is currently $20 for the whole set of 48. That is a deal, yo. That is a deal. Just gonna go ahead like that. And green is my favorite color, so I definitely don't mind swatching some greens. I know, right? 48 for $20. I'm sorry, it's better than getting the kit. Like, it just is. You're gonna get way more paint. It's gonna last you longer. The kit is going, or I should say the pans is gonna be more convenient for you, because you can potentially have like this whole thing. Sorry, I'm wearing like a giant pink sweatshirt today. You get this whole thing on the side, which is nice. And this is, you can close it up. That's what you're paying for, really, if you're paying for this set today versus the tubes. The tubes are just an incredible deal to get that many. And then, of course, there's smaller ones that you can do, too. Yeah, I mean, I think you and I both agree, friend. We are Meeden fans for sure. And I don't use my tube paints enough, but I would totally use these. Okay, this is phthalo green. And again, just pulling right out of the top and going in. And obviously the big difference between a lot of these greens is the ratios of green to yellow. And then there are probably additions to that as well. I'm more of in my clothing, I prefer green blue. And in my art, I prefer green yellow. I'm not sure why that is, but it's the truth. Let me go and label these right now so I don't forget. Okay, let's see. This is the phthalo. I want to make sure I spelled that correctly because I feel like I'm going to misspell it. PHTHLO. And then this was deep green. Deep. This is sap. This one was Viridian. And this one was, what was the other one? Pale green. I had pale green and mid green. I think this one was mid green and this is pale. And this is yellowish. Now, just to be clear, like I love my Meeden, but they are not like the top of the top when it comes to paints. They're a solid set. I think there are other paints that do granulation better. Like the Daniel Smith paints make great granulation, but you're not going to be unhappy with this set. I'm telling you right now, you're just not going to be unhappy with it. This is olive green. This one might be the winner for me because I just love an olive green tone. Let's see. Oh, yes. That's more blue than I expected, though. But that's where mixing comes in, right? Can't believe that you can get these 48 of these for 20 bucks. That's wild. And yes, you do have to pay shipping if you don't spend more than $30. But all you have to do is get a couple watercolor pads and you're all set. Like, this would be a great gift set, honest to God. Like if you got the paints and you got a couple of watercolor paper pads, you're looking at $40 worth of gifts, free shipping. You're all set for whoever you're buying your stuff for, or whether it's for yourself, you know? All right. So this one was, what did I just say that one was? Olive green? Yeah, that's what I said. Olive green. Okay. And then we're going to move into the blues now. This one is indigo. I do love me some indigo. Indigo is a good one. It's great for shadow work. Especially in botanicals where you're looking for just a little bit of darkness. It's nice to add a bit of indigo in there. This is actually lighter than I expected. And then this one is Prussian blue. Prussian blue is usually a little bit warmer. So it's got like ocean blue vibes to it for sure. Thanks for all the gifts, everybody. I've actually been sitting on these paints for a while. Too long, quite honestly. And so it's good to be able to sit down and throw these down, you know. Hi, Jamie. This one is phthalo blue. This one's going to be even like lighter than this one. It's almost kind of got a cyan vibe to it. And then let's see. Cindy, you're gonna love it. There's so much paint. You're gonna love it. Honest to goodness. If Alexis and I are both loving on this paint, You know it's a good one. This one is ultramarine. And again, I'm not the best swatcher in the world. I'm a lazy swatcher. I throw paint down. I hope for the best. Hope that things don't look terrible as I'm swatching. But, all right, so this is, did I just get this whole row? I did, didn't I? Yes. Okay. So let me label the rest of these. All right. This one was, so that one was phthalo. Here I am, like just, oh, this was olive, right? Olive green. Then I did indigo. And then I did Prussian. And then I did, what was this one? Prussian. This is ultramarine. I know that. I'm so bad at color names, guys. I just go on instinct after a while. Oh, and then this is the phthalo. So PHTHALO. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Jessie. Okay. So once again, this is one tray. Oh, I don't want to drop it. This is one tray of the 4 trays. And because I'm terrible at putting things away, I'm just going to throw these all in here and regret it later because I want to do other things today besides swatch. But I'll swatch a couple of trays for you guys. Okay. And then this one. All right. So all of these paints, this is 12 paints. All of these and 3 more sets of those is only $20. This and also this and also this of all of the swatching is only $20, not including shipping. And if you buy yourself some Meeden watercolor paper, you can get yourself very easily over the $30 mark and get free shipping. Like, right, I know nobody wants to buy more paint. Well, I mean, I always want to buy more paint, but nobody needs more paint. But at the very least, this might be a good gift for someone that you know is teetering on wanting to play with watercolor paints. I actually have someone in mind right now that I'm thinking about that would actually maybe like this. Like, she wants to desperately come to a like in-person class, but never seems to have the time. And I'm like, maybe I should just get these for her. And then she's really going to be committed to coming to one of my classes. All right, so I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna do it with these. Since we're already on the blues, we'll do some pinks and purples as well. So let me move these over. When I'm done with this live, I'm probably gonna buy some more of these because it just seems silly not to. They're such a good deal. I bought their empty palette container also to put these in. Smart. Super smart. April, I don't even want to, I'm the biggest supply hoarder. It's just ridiculous. I'm so bad. I honestly was thinking about, like, the other day, I'm like, I need to buy like containers to start to put my art supplies in that I'm not currently using in the basement, so I have more space on my art table to paint. Okay, this is cobalt blue. Again, lazy swatcher. Just sticking my brush right at the end of the tube. I'm going to go in here and just, ooh, I really like that color. Because I'm such a botanical artist, I so rarely paint with blues, but it's like my second favorite color. I just need to like push myself to use them more, right? I know, me too. Me too, everybody. So many art supplies. And guys, you haven't even seen the yarn. I know you don't know this about me, but I am a crocheter. After I go upstairs for bedtime, I sit in my chair like a little old granny. My cat comes up on my lap and I crochet my little heart out and listen to audiobooks. And so I may have way too much yarn as well. Let's just say it. So much so that like, it covers the floor of my chair space, and I have some down here next to my art desk right now because it's so much. But that's not why you're here. You're not here for my yarn hoarding. You're here for my paint hoarding. This one is cerulean blue. These blues are so pretty, guys. They're so pretty. You haven't crocheted since you moved to Tennessee 4 years ago. Why is that, April? I agree, actually. That's what I was just saying. If you have a group of friends that you want to get them on the watercolor wagon, this would be a great way to do it. Just give them the supplies, force them to feel obligated to try something new. It won't take them long. They'll fall in love with it like you have. It's a really great gift idea. I know it's early. I know it's not, you know, Christmas and all of the other holidays, but this is a good one. I actually could see myself getting this for my mom too. Look at that one. Ooh, I like that one. What is that one? That one's sky blue. Yes, please. Such a good idea, Cindy. I'm doing that tomorrow. I'm doing it tomorrow. I have to drop my kids off at their theater camp, and I'm going to do that right after. I'm going to go to the Goodwill. That is such a good idea. Let me label these while I'm talking to you guys. Oh my God, I swear to God, every time I put down a watercolor pencil, I can't find it. Oh my God, what is wrong with me? So many things. All right, well, we're going to go in with brown on this because I keep changing the color. Okay, so this one is, what did I say? This one's cerulean. This one's sky. This one, ooh, this one is cobalt. Right, cobalt. Okay. Let's see. Next, what is this one? It looks pretty. Ooh, light gray blue. Yes, please. You know what I also like about this set? You don't have to, I mean, they don't offer individualized paints, which, I mean, that is not as convenient because you would love to have the access to that, right? Like you would love to be able to buy your favorite paint. And that is a bit of a nuisance, but I will say the fact that you get all of these, you don't like have to buy the expensive kind to test out the color. And while no, all paints are not the same, you're going to learn what types of colors people are talking about in those tutorials. When they say Prussian blue, you can be like, oh, I have one of those. I know what that should look like. Or if they say cobalt, like what the difference would be between like indigo and Prussian and cobalt, or ultramarine. Like then you can at least see in a cheap way what these things actually stand for if at some point you genuinely think you would want to spend more money on paints that are higher end. But these are perfect so far that I can tell. All right, light gray blue is this one. All right. So many blues. Okay, but we're stepping away from the blues now. You say that, and now we're going to pink. So this is just a standard pink. It doesn't have any specialized name. Let's see. I do like this one already because sometimes it's hard to find this kind of bubblegum pink in a paint tube. That's a good one. I can see me using that one a lot. It's pretty opaque too. Like it goes down pretty thick. I mean, I can lift it off so we can see some transparency in it. But that's a nice opacity for sure. I like that. Okay, so we've got the pink, and then we have, what is this one? Peach Blossom. That can't be bad. Peach Blossom, yes please. Ooh. Oh my God, guys. I love this one. This is a perfect botanical color. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that botanical is kind of my comfort paint. Like that's my comfort place. I could paint with this color every day as a botanical. Especially even right now with the harvest stuff I'm doing. That is very good. And again, it's got that opacity to it. So you can play with the transparency, but it can be opaque. Okay, so this is just a standard pink. And then this one is the Peach Blossom. Was that what it was? Is it peach? Yeah, Peach Blossom. Okay. I'm going to lift this off the paper pad. I'll show you how I do that. So you want to look around the edges for the section where there's no glue. So like you've got glue here, and then there's like this empty space. So what you would do is you would stick your, whether it's a credit card or a palette knife, or in this case, this isn't the end of my flat wash brush that I got. This one's from, I think it's from King Art. Yep. And then I would just go around the edges and lift it up. That's the only thing that's a nuisance about these pads, is that you kind of like have to baby them off the pad. Okay. So let's go ahead and do this with, what did I just do? I did the peach black. Okay. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left in this set to do. Okay. This one, I did this one already. Guys, I just worked all day and my brain is so fried. I had to stop at Starbucks and get coffee, and it's like 5 o'clock at night. What am I thinking? I know what I'm thinking. I was exhausted. Like I could barely drive my daughter to gymnastics today. And then on my way to gymnastics, you know how like there's like the pedestrian median? Well, I pulled up and I was a little snug in pulling up past the median, and some lady walking her dogs, who was like not barely even into the street, was like, learn how to drive. I'm like, oh dear God. I'm like, learn how to be nice. Like people can make mistakes. I accidentally went over the pedestrian path a little bit. Learn to be nice, and I'll try to be better about not crossing your walking space. Okay, this one was Rose. That's very pretty. This one reminds me more of like a magenta-ish color. This one is purple red. Maybe this one will be more magenta. It's funny, like they've got like regular green label names for these, like sap and olive and indigo and phthalo, but the pinks are all like very basic names. I wonder why that is. Yeah, this has definitely got more of a magenta quinacridone kind of vibe to it. And again, if you're new here, like you just jumped on this live, this set of paint, there are 48 tubes and they are $20. Normally they would be $35. That's an amazing deal for all of this paint. This one is Diaxazine Violet. And what did I say this one was? This one was purple red. And if you want the free shipping, just get yourself a pad of paper. And that'll kick you up over, I would imagine it would kick you up over $30. This one reminds me more of like a lavender rather than the Dioxazine purple, but it's very pretty. This would look very good with, I'm going to always take this back to flowers, but I'm thinking of wisteria, especially. Dioxazine violet. I love painting wisteria. It's so fun. Hey, friend. I'm swatching out all of my Meeden tubes. Well, maybe half of them. Maybe half. Okay, purple gray. Can you turn that music down, dude? Sorry, guys. My speaker is not currently working because it's not charged, so you're forced to listen to my children's television. Hey, buddy, can you turn the volume down? Thank you. Yes. Are you wearing my sweater?
No, I was giving it.
Oh, I don't need it. Look at me. I'm wearing a giant hoodie that looks very thick. But thank you.
Okay.
Would you like to wear it?
Okay.
Okay. We're at this stage where my children, my daughters, steal my clothing. And I'm kind of into it right now. I think I'll be into it for like a half an hour. And then after that, I'm going to be like, stop stealing my stuff. How are you, friend? Happy birthday late again. It's everybody's birthday, guys. Or it was, oh my God, everybody. It was Chelsea's birthday this week. Make sure to wish her a happy birthday. This one was purple gray. Purple gray. You are everybody. This one's purple pale. Again, they're just giving these such basic names. Okay, the purple pale might be my favorite purple so far. This one's got a very ultramarine vibe to it too. So it's probably some sort of mix of ultramarine. Okay. Did you? Of course you did. It's such a good deal. It's $20. How could you not? Did you get anything else or did you just get the paints? I mean, it's still a really good deal. Like, even if you end up paying for shipping, the shipping's what, $7? It ends up kicking you up close to $30 anyways with the shipping if you're not buying anything else. This one is Brilliant Purple. Ooh. Actually, I like the feel of this one. This one feels very smooth, kind of velvety. Oh, friend, that is not... So, look at this. Oh, did I spill? I splattered. Look at all the greens and blues. There's 48 in this set. 48 in this set. Isn't that crazy? All right. I don't think I can swatch anymore, though, guys. I'm tired of swatching. So I'm going to Purple Pale. And this is Brilliant Purple. Okay, so Purple Pale, Brilliant Purple. And then I'm going to paint some leaves, I think. Purple Pale and Brilliant Purple. And then we'll paint some leaves. I'll teach you guys how to paint maple leaves. Chelsea, you paint maple leaves, don't you? You must. You must paint maple leaves. All right, so I'm looking again. This is the section here where you would stick your credit card or your palette knife or whatever you have in here. I know, but I mean, I might as well be Canadian, and I just taught myself how to paint maple leaves within the last couple of weeks, and I'm so dang proud of myself because I always look at them as like impossible, too difficult, especially loose, and I think I've conquered my fear. Okay, so let us do some maple leaf action because they're just so great once you figure it out. Okay. Oh, and an empty tin for the tube paint. Perfect. Sounds awesome. Did you? So I just, a heads up, I actually ordered a ceramic paint palette from them and it came broken. So when I messaged them, they immediately replaced it. So if, just a heads up, if anything happens, they're really good about making sure that it's a non-issue. Okay. Thank you. I mean, I'm not a big heart. Well, I'm not a heart person. I'm not a big swatch person, but I think when you're getting new paints, you kind of have to swatch. I'm going to move the tubes out of the way though, guys. I'm just going to bring out my pans because it's just more convenient for a live. And because I just literally yanked my brush out of a tube to create the swatch and I don't have any palette set up, I'm just going to throw this out here and we're going to use this. Okay. But these are all basically the same paints. I have to figure out which ones are which though, to see if I have all of them or if there's like certain ones missing. Because the reason I really got them is because I wanted to refill some of my pans. So do you have some, April? Have you had them before? Interesting. You think that's why, Terry? Because of landscape artists? Because I'm looking here, like this whole pan here, this is all like oranges and yellows and browns. And then check out this one. Now, obviously, I did not swatch that one. Look at all the browns and blacks in this one. Isn't that crazy? Crazy. Now, some of these are clearly shimmers. This one's metallic silver and metallic gold. Mars black, Payne's gray, neutral gray, raw umber, burnt sienna, raw sienna, yellow ochre, and violet. Now, most of these are actually labeled pretty well, I would argue. Not some like mid-tone, not anything. Permanent deep, mid-yellow, gamboge. They have a gamboge. I love gamboge. Gamboge is one of my favorites to paint with. Okay. I'm going to go in and start. I'm just going to start with one single maple leaf to show you guys how I make them. And then maybe a couple more leaves. And then from there, I might lean into maybe some sort of composition. So, all right. So here's how I do a maple leaf. And you do you, but this works for me really nicely. So I'm using a watercolor pencil here. You can use a regular pencil. You could use a paintbrush. You could just paint it on here. But what I like about a watercolor pencil is that I can add paint over the top and this paint will distribute. So what I do is I do basically a five-legged chicken foot. I know that sounds weird, but it kind of goes like this. It's like the skeleton of the maple leaf. This is how I'm thinking of it. I'm going to make the stem on the bottom in just a minute. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in and I'm going to grab a color, probably yellow to start. And, oh, stickers. Yay. Thank you. Hi, Lilith. All right. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to use this yellow and I'm going to start at the top. My hoodie is so thick and so long. And I'm going to create basically this like 3-point effect on the top, like right up here. And I'm going to do it all the way around with all of these. I may change up the yellow though. I might do the yellow here and then change it to maybe orange over here. But I want it to be like 3 points. And then you, of course, can add your orange and mix and all of that stuff. But I like to do this on the tips of this giant chicken foot that's not realistic. And then maybe another one over here. And I just pull this out and pull this out. I know I'm probably moving fast, but I have a habit of doing that, so I apologize. Okay, so we've got all of these little tips because I feel like those are the hardest parts. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this down, pull this up a little bit more, and then just kind of pull down from here. So I pulled out one more tip because I'm painting large, like this. And then pulling it over the vein a little bit. And I'm going to go around and do that for all of them. So a little bit out here and pull it down. A little bit more out here and pull it down. And then don't be afraid to run your brush over the vein that you made. Pull it down and pull it out like that. And I'm just going to keep going from the tips of those veins all the way down. Okay. Have fun, friend. I will stop and visit your Feather Friday in a little bit, okay? It starts at 7, yeah? And pull this down here and pull up a little bit, another little like point. So by coming down here and then slowly pulling out the points on each leaf, I'm taking it one bit at a time and then pulling this in to connect the leaves down here. So it's kind of like webbed feet when I come in this way. And then even when I come down here. Now the vein you should be adding watercolor to the bottom of this as you go. Now realistically, I could add another one of these leaves to make it a bit more accurate, like down this way. Like you could still go down even like one more time and one more time like that. And then do the same thing that we did on the top. So like that, and then pull it back in. And then just like these are the corners where they kind of connect. And if it looks wonky, it's totally fine because leaves live in nature and nature is not delicate. It does all sorts of crazy things to nature and the environment. And you still get really beautiful things like this. So let's see here. Just want to make sure. Lilith, I'm sorry to hear you're not having a great Friday. Hopefully you're, finding your peace about it, at least by being here and hanging out and not thinking about it. Or trying not to anyway. All right, I'm going to add some more orange. And this is where you can play with transparency. Like you can really go to town, creating all sorts of crazy like dark shapes and shadows. Or you can go light and not do much more than this. And then you just need to add your little stem there. And then you're almost done. Like you can go in and add like drops of brown and just let it spread. Because these get like how they change color is usually in like little round splatters. And then you start to see that color kind of blend all together. Hi, Gwyneth. Did you really, JoJo? Did you post it? Now I need to see. I'm just going to add, generally in the areas where there's connections, I'm just going in and adding a bit more color rather than leaving it too transparent, because I imagine there's some shadows in those areas. I'm going to go ahead and add it in here too. And even if this is not exactly a maple leaf, it implies, right? Like, implication is everything as an artist, because you can say it looks like anything, and someone in their mind's eye can imagine it just like you do. Thanks, Gwendolyn. Now this weird bottom here is annoying me, so I'm actually just gonna like expand this out a little bit so that it doesn't annoy me as much as it's annoying me right now. And then I will drag this back in here again, and I'll just make it look like it came from down here. And then you can add as much or as little of the veins within this leaf as you want. And then you can add little stems to those parts as well. The reason I love watercolor pencils so much for something like this is that it is currently wet. It does hold structure, but it can bleed out or blend in with some of those softer tones. Oh, you did a beetle on a maple leaf? That's adorable. That's so cute. You know, it's funny. I like most beetles with the exception of two, and it's for personal reasons. I don't like ladybugs. I think ladybugs are icky. And I don't like stink bugs, and it's because they annoy me. Like, they're too often I find them in my house, and then they like spray their grody smell on me when I try and like get rid of them. I know they're just protecting themselves, but I don't like them. And for ladybugs, it's because my parents used to own property in the country. I mean, obviously I'm a city girl, but we used to own property, and we would go out there, and every once in a while, the ladybugs, it would be like a plague of ladybugs all over our teeny tiny little cabin, and they would be covering the windows, and they would be covering, it was so gross. Like, it just put a bad taste in my mouth when it came to ladybugs. But all other beetles I'm super down with. So I generally don't do those ones. I don't illustrate those ones very often. Okay. So the maple leaf, I think, or the maple leaf-ish, whatever this is, the implied leaf with lots of maple vibes is, I think, pretty much done. I might go in with some black and sharpen that up in a little bit, but I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do a bouquet, like what I did on my tutorial this week, because that was just so fun, doing all of the little different bouquet type leaves in the composition. I just might need bigger paper. Let me see. Where did I put my thing? Don't know where I put it. Don't know where I put it. I never know where I put anything. Oh my God, you would think I would get better at this, but no. All right, I'm just gonna go in with my blade. It's just gonna be easier right now because I don't want to spend forever looking for things. I have to show you guys this though. It might be the cutest thing I've ever seen. I don't mind cockroaches. I mean, I'm not like into them, but maybe because I don't have any bad experiences with them. I had someone who thought I had cockroaches in my house tell me that they weren't going to clean in my house, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, there was something behind your toaster, and when I came home, it was a moth. And I'm like, that's not a cockroach. Like, that's a moth. Okay, so you guys have to see this. Have you guys seen these? They're all over my TikTok right now. These cute little box cutter kitten paws. They're like blind boxes for adults. I can't even stand it. Let me get my light on in here because it's getting dark and I don't want to lose the lighting. Give me just a second. I'll put you right here. Okay. Sorry, I know it's very bright, very bright. Okay, so this is a box cutter. Look at that. Look at how cute that is. And then it's just quickly like, boop. And it's got like a warranty for like 3 years on it so that the blade stays pretty decent. I like to use it for like opening my art supplies, like when I get new stuff. But I can probably use it here. Let's just pop this in here. Okay. And then we'll just go like this all the way around. It is in my shop below. Let me see. What is it called? Meow Kit? Yep. Meow Kit Surprise Blind Box. Though there are other versions of this. But this is the one where you get, I think there's 6 different designs. And this is the one I got. Because my kids love blind boxes. And admittedly, I do too. I always want to see what they get. And then that comes off pretty easily. And then voila. Isn't that the cutest? It's so cute. I can't even. And then, of course, the satisfying peel the glue stuff. That never gets old. Never, ever gets old. I mean, do I think the box, do I think, you know, $20 box cutter is necessary for your art practice? No. Do I love it anyways? Yes, because it's adorable. And it makes me want to cut my Amazon boxes with a cutter instead of my fingernails. Okay, so we're going to take this leaf and we are going to turn this into a bouquet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with some watercolor pencil and I'm going to set up the framework of this illustration. And I'm going to probably do what I did for the tutorial that I did online. I'm going to start with basically a vase. And we're going to do a water vase, like a clear water vase. The shape of it doesn't really matter. It can be whatever you want it to be. And then up here, I'll probably just make that soft little curve. And then I have a habit of making a line outside or inside my water bottle that looks kind of like this. It implies there's glass. And I usually go all the way around on the inside and do this. And again, I use watercolor pencils so that I don't have to see the graphite underneath or the lead underneath when I'm done. And usually I just pop this up over the edge here, kind of like that. And then I won't use any paint on this until I get close to putting the stems in. What I will do is I will put the water line in like this. And then I'll put another water line in over here like that. Okay? And those are just regular watercolor pencils. I don't have a very, like the brand I'm using is Karst, but it's not in the TikTok shop as far as I know. You can find it through my Bendable account, but it's not here. I've looked. I don't think they sell it. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to do some leaves. So we're going to definitely do some maple leaves. We'll do them a little more loose than this, but same idea. We'll have a few of them up here. We'll start with those because those are the hardest ones to do in my opinion. And then we'll add in some oak leaves and then we'll also add in some poplar leaves like I did in my tutorial online. So we're going to do these chicken feet type things. I need to this light is a lot right now. I'm going to drop you down because you're just a bit too much. There we go. That's better. Okay, and then I'm just going to pull these down this way. They all tend to come from the same spot at the bottom. So right here, up, 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 down over here. We're going to do another one over this way. Like that. I might just do 2 because I'm a little concerned I might run out of space. And then I'm going to paint these first, and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to paint in. The lighting is still a little off for me. Let me switch this up and see. Does that feel better or worse? I don't know. Okay, that one, I guess that's okay. It's not perfect, but it's okay. Sorry, I'm getting persnickety about the lighting and what you can see. I just want to make sure you guys can see the watercolor on this, and then maybe I'll change it up as I start painting it. Okay, so we'll do 2 of these leaves. They're going to come down into the vase. We'll do probably like three oak leaves, which those are easy enough to paint, but I don't want to put them in until I get these in because they take up so much space. So at the moment, I'm going to grab my brush. I could use the size 5, but I think I might be better off using a size 3 watercolor brush. So I think I'm going to use that. All sizes are not equal, unfortunately. I cannot promise you that what a size 3 is in Meeden is going to be a size 3 for someone else. But round brushes generally follow the smaller sizes, are generally from 0 to 6, and then anything above 6 gets significantly bigger. You hit 10 and 12, it's much, much bigger. Okay, so let's go in on this with some of the peach to start. And I'm just gonna kind of go up here and create like these 3-point tips, like that. 3-point tip, like that. Over here. And I'm not going to worry about this being a perfect representation. Sometimes we get caught up in that and then we refuse to come back because we don't think we can create anything valuable. You don't need to make things perfect. You don't need to be a biologist. You don't need to know how to paint everything the perfect way. So much of art is based on the inspiration of something or the implication of something. I mean, look at Monet's work. Very rarely did you see him go into great detail. They were all like landscape florals that were just like painterly brushstrokes that were gorgeous. Okay, so the impression of a maple leaf. We got that right there. I'm going to go back in and add some reds. And this is called the wet on wet technique. When you add paint into an area that already has water. And just a reminder, all the Meeden art supplies are on sale right now. Like the tubes are incredibly on sale. $20 for a set of 48 tubes. That is a steal right there. And then this pan of paints is also 20. Still 48 paints, but in the pans. You don't have to squeeze anything out. Okay, so I'm going to move that around with some water. You don't need to go in and pick up paint every time you want to move paint around. Sometimes you can just move what's already on the page and still have some very successful effects. Just want to make sure I'm hitting all the right spots here. Hi, CJ. Isn't it so cute, Gwendolyn? It's the cutest. Those pencils are, these are not pastel pencils right here. These are watercolor pencils. These are not the exact same, but they're very similar. But they are the woodless kind. The pastel pencils in my Sharp are Carbothello pencils. They are intentionally pastel. They do not interact with the water very well. Let's see. Is it fine to share until you see them wiping or abusing your favorite sweatshirt? Oh, I agree with you. At this point, I'm not worried about them abusing my clothing. They have not done that yet. It's very early in the process, but I would not be surprised. I'm certain that my clothing will start to disappear, and then I will really start to get angry when I don't know where things are, and that will really annoy me. Yes. Like right now, I'm sharing my coffee and my sweater. Hurry up, get over here and take a sip. You scavengers. Thank you. I know. Okay. So I'm going to pull in, remember these stems here underneath the leaf. We don't want to connect them directly to each other. We want to kind of go down and give them a little bit of a scoop there, like that. So 3 points on the top. You can change colors while you're painting. Be as creative or boring as you like. No one's going to care but you. Though I suppose we all are our own worst critics, right? Okay. So I think this impression is doing exactly what I want it to do. It looks like a maple leaf. It's got some really nice different tones in here. You can see the oranges. You can see a little bit of the reds. There's definitely some yellows in this one. I'm going to add a little bit more red here and here. And then definitely in this section, and just let it bleed a little bit. You can already see that it's still pretty wet on the page. And that is very satisfying for sure. It's like the best part about watercolor painting. Okay, so now we'll add in some, I think we'll do some oak leaves. Those are just fun. Maybe we'll do them in like a brownish tone. And we can still add reds and yellows to it, but I think for right now, we're just gonna kind of, so we do like a bubble on top and then bubble, bubble, or they're like cloud leaves. And then I'm tucking it behind, so I don't need to draw the other parts. I'll paint around that. And then we'll imagine it finishes there. We'll do another one here. Little cloud leaves. Like that. And then we'll do another one here. Like that. Okay. So we'll definitely paint those in as well. And then I do want some poplar leaves, so we'll do some yellow ones. We'll sneak them behind. Let's do one here. These are your standard shaped leaves, the ones that you would expect to want to paint that feel really easy. They're like lemon shaped. We'll do another one in here. And then try and keep your composition of leaves odd. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have odd leaves, but then I feel like there needs to be a bit more weight on this side. So I'm going to add a few more leaves over here. I'm going to add 2 more. And then maybe another one here. Okay, so it feels a bit more balanced. It doesn't have to be symmetrical, but we want it to be balanced. Okay? Okay. So sorry about that. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to start adding a bit more water to the paint. Before I do that, I want to add a vein down this one, a vein this one, and then one here. And I'm going to do the same thing here in these poplar leaves. And I can sharpen up those edges and make them a bit more jaggedy if I want later on. And then the last thing I'm going to be doing probably with the watercolor and the paint is filling in this space and with water and then pulling the branches down into that space. I want to brighten this up again. Okay. So now I'm going to come in, I'm going to do these brown ones. You can see they're watercolor pencil, that's why the pigment is moving around, but it's still pretty light. There we go. It's still pretty light. So as I just add water, I'm going to add more pigment on top of that. So I might add a little bit more red and let that spread around as it wants. I could add some yellow in there. Play around. Live your best life. And this paper pad is a cold press paper pad. Cold press is a more textured paper pad, but this is not terribly textured. Like if you look at it, you can kind of see the grain in it a little bit, but it's not super grainy. But it's got a nice feel to it, especially for beginning watercolor artists. I think that cold press is the easier paper to start with if it's something you're interested in doing. And then feel free to go back in and add more brown if you want to do that. I'm feeling like that could be cool. I'm watching that blend with the red a little bit. Okay. So that feels pretty good there. Let's add a bit more red to keep some consistency with what we did over on that side. I almost always add more pigment to the edges and to the veins, or where they're like hiding, kind of like they're like shadow bits. Like that. And I will go in over this again with mixed media over the top. Okay, so I'm gonna do these leaves in yellow, these poplar leaves. I did go in and add paint almost right away. That is very lemony yellow. I'm gonna warm that down a little bit more. I don't really want it that lemony, but since I already started it, I'm gonna keep doing it with all of the others. And then it'll look like, if it's too lemony now, it'll be good later on when I try and like saturate it with a little bit more warmth and browns and yellows that are more orangey. So this is more of a gamboge. I'm gonna add this in here. It's already starting to feel like it belongs better than maybe that lemon yellow, but that lemon yellow has the opportunity to create some contrast and some light in the leaves. And again, my name is Christine. I am a watercolor / mixed media artist. I've been painting for about a little over 5 years now. I started during the pandemic, zero watercolor background, just a love for things that felt accessible and beautiful. And I thought maybe this is something I could do, something I could find pride in. And here we are, finding pride in things that I never expected. This is not my full-time job. I'm a teacher, I'm a math teacher by day. I work with middle schoolers. I love my students, but I really love this too. Hi, Rose Garden. So you see what I did there? I gave that a bit more texture just with my brush strokes, right? So you don't have to draw those shapes if you feel like you're uncomfortable doing that. You can let your brush do it just by putting the tip of the brush down. And then if you really want to do something extra, you can pull that in to that center vein and create that shape or that vein shape along the edge. I like to do it somewhat. I don't usually like to do all of it. I like to leave a little bit for kind of the contrast within the leaf, but you do you. I'm going to come in here and do the same thing, add some of those warm, I think I did that actually. I already added some of that warm yellow tone in there. So I'm just going to move this brown around. This, I think it's like an umber, like a raw umber maybe. I'm going to lift if I feel like I went down too heavy. I'm going to go back in here and pull the vein through. Now this is still wet, so it's going to blend a little bit. And here I go in again, just using the tip to create that jagged edge. That just makes it look a little more unique from the rest of the leaves. And then you can again pull that in as much as you want. Notice that it's blending out pretty quickly because this is still pretty wet. And I'll do the same thing with these over here. Okay. And again, I know I've mentioned this a few times if you've been here for a little bit. Meeden is having a sale that is incredible. You can get 48 tube paints from Meeden right now for $20. 48. You can get this set here also for 48, which is great. Please don't get me wrong, like, or not for 48. You can get this 48 color set for $20, or you can get all of these tube paints for $20. You would have to pay for shipping if you didn't buy anything else, but totally worth it. You're not going to find a better deal on tube paints from a company like Meeden, who does really great art supplies. I cannot say enough about them. And not only are their art supplies great, the people that work there are very great as well. Like, they're just kind and helpful people. Okay, that looks way too thick. You see the difference between this and this? I don't really want that, so I'm just gonna use my water to spread it out and pretend that it did not exist. Easy enough. Easy enough to get rid of. That's okay, April. That's totally fine. You got to remember, I've done this a number of times now. Like, I did a lot of practice for my tutorial that I did this week. And so at this point, I'm starting to get my groove a little bit. And if you just haven't found it yet, that's totally fine. You'll get there. And if, you know, the reality is, maybe it looks better not looking like mine. Okay. So we've got this and that. I'm just going to blend that in a little bit more. And then I think this is the part where I'm going to like leave this alone for a few minutes. I will come back in and add more color, but I'm going to start adding the water. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go in using a wash. I'm going to get the whole thing wet. I'm going to use just a blue watery mix over the whole top, like this, all the way around. I am going to darken up some later areas later on a little bit more. But for right now, this is the way I make sure that everything is kind of painted in. And again, I know I've said this to you guys before, but when I'm done with my lives, I try and post them on YouTube so you guys can go back if you're not able to stay or hang. This is usually reposted over there. Okay? All right, so we've got this filled in. I'm going to dry it a little bit with my heat gun. And then when I come back, I'm going to focus on this water section a little bit more. Where did my heat gun go is the question. Oh, you're on the floor. Okay. There is a heat gun in my shop if you want to take a look. You do you. Like some people are perfectly fine letting it dry on its own. Because I'm working online and I paint online, it's important to me that I'm able to move fast enough to get through one whole painting in a session. I don't like leaving a painting, which is why I like watercolor so much, because I don't have to worry about that. It does dry pretty quickly, and I can get the satisfaction of getting a painting done in one sitting. Okay, I'm gonna go in here one more time with this blue, and I'm just gonna paint this inside portion of the illustration that I did. Right here. I'm going to move that paint around. It doesn't need to be super transparent. It can be. You can just do the edges. You can really go in heavy. I'm not going to go in super heavy because I still want the branches to kind of come in through this space. But I'm just painting in through here right now. Okay, and then I went around the edge, and then I'm just going to put some water in the center, kind of like that. Okay. I also want to make sure this back end here is still available to see, like the back end of the inside of that water, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more water to the top and a little bit more tone and pigment, a little bit more on the bottom, because that's usually where the shadows are. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this with my blow dryer one more time, and then I'm going to pull some stems in. I don't want this to be super dry, but I want it to be dry enough that there's no puddles. Maybe a little too dry. I'm gonna go in here one more time. And then what I'm gonna do is, because this top part is pretty dry, it's not gonna feel the impact. I'm gonna grab these, I think I'm gonna do them all in like these brown tones. I generally don't run it right through this line. I kind of leave that alone. We're going to come down this way and through here and through here. And you can see it starting to blend out. I'm going to do the same thing over here, down through here, and then through here. And this is all wet. It's spreading out because it's still wet in there. That's fine. We're going to do another one up here, down through this area, down through here, still leaving this part kind of untouched, unpainted. Don't run it right through the line, run it kind of behind, like that. And then what I will do is, after it's dry and this is all blended out, like dried up, I will go in again over the top and sharpen up those lines with the blend underneath. Let's do it with these orange leaves. I want it to be redder, actually. And I'm going to add some brown to that. So I'm actually mixing over here just so that you can see. Adding some brown to that. I want it to be more of a sepia color. Right through here. And that is now telling me this is starting to dry. So that's why it didn't blend out super lot. I'm going to take this right over the top here because this was here first. Pulling it down this way and then down here. And then we're going to do it again, this time with another brown color, maybe a darker brown. Down this way. And you can see right in there where it's starting to blend. Right in there. And then this one here, we're going to have it kind of popping up underneath. Down that way. Okay. So you can see all the brown that's blended down here. That's totally fine. I'm going to let that blend and bleed a little bit. I'm going to pull one more like branch right through there. And then once that's all dry, I will go in and sharpen up again over the top. All right. Let me blow dry. Actually, yeah, because my battery in my phone is at 12%. So we're going to see how much time I can pull this phone through the rest of this live. Okay, I want to add a few more tones to the inside here of these maple leaves. I also want to add some stems, but I'm just going to add a little bit more red in here. Now that's a lot of red. That's very bright and vibrant. I want to spread it out and soften up the edge a little bit. So do you see what I did there? The undertones are still there. Those like faded undertones are still there. But now it looks a little bit more interesting. So just add some water, blend it out. Okay. I'm going to do it up here too. I'm going to definitely do it over here. And then add some water and blend it out. And if you put too much down, you can always lift it up off the page. Hi, Deblista. Hi, Ashley. Yep, leaves with long stems. Why not? I mean, who's to say I didn't pick off all this other leaves on these, right? Maybe there were lots of leaves on that stem and I just plucked them all off. Hi, Angelica. What paint did I just grab? I don't even know. Okay, let's come back in here. Maybe add a little bit of brown to these maple leaves. And don't feel afraid of adding freckles to these leaves because they do have lots of different marks and coloring on them. Let's do maybe a bit more peachy over here and up in here. And thank you for tolerating all of the TV music in the background. I appreciate all of you for that. My children don't know how to turn things down. No matter how many times I ask, they try. And it just never seems to be enough. I know, phone, we're at 10%. Got it. Got it, got it. Thank you so much, Libby. Thank you, thank you. I love these leaves, and I want to just sharpen them up to look a little different. So maybe we darken. Let's go in a little bit darker. Make these tones a little bit more contrasty with what's already up here. So just by darkening these oak leaves a little bit, it looks different from the maple leaves. It looks different from the poplar leaves. It just has something extra added to it that looks more interesting. Okay, so let's go back into the maple leaves. We're going to add some line work in there. I think I'm just going to use, oh, this is a pink color. I'm going to use a red watercolor pencil. This one looks a bit more purpley than this one. Let's just stick with this one. And these I originally drew, but they disappeared. At least these veins disappeared under the water. So I'm going to come back up here, pull down, pull down, pull down all the way through, just like that. And then add as many or as little veins to those lines as you'd like. I never like to be entirely predictable when I'm putting these veins in. I like to, it's so instinctual at some point where I'm like, just put one there and I'll just put one there and that one looks good and maybe over there. I'm going to use brown for this one. I want to sharpen this one up a little bit more. Like that. Oh, I love that. And this is the mixed media portion where you just draw over the top of everything you already painted. But I think it's the funnest part. Like, I think the painting is the most satisfying when you feel like you're doing it right. But the illustrating over the top is the part that feels like I'm getting my power back. So I'm just going to come in here and you can see I'm just sharpening up those stems on the bottom. I'm going to flip back and forth between red here though, because we do have some red stems. And then I think this one is almost done. Thank you so much, Carrie. These are watercolor pencils. Yes, they're woodless watercolor pencils. I do believe I used to have Arteza in my shop, but those sold out. I'm currently using Karst. They are not available in my shop, but you can find them on my Benable account. If that is of interest to you, you could just message me in the private comments and I can show you where I got them. I'm just going to sharpen up some of these leaves on the edges here. And then I'm going to go in with black. Black is always my final touch. You can use black ink, or you can use black watercolor pencil, or you can use black acrylic marker. I flip-flop between all of them from time to time. I like it just because I feel like it just sharpens things up the way I want them to be sharpened up. Texas, I just didn't know how to use them. I use them as an undersketch. So like I'll sketch out an illustration first in watercolor and then I'll go over the top with water and I'll start to drag those pigments out and then I add more paint from my palette to those areas. And then as you can see right now, I definitely like to go back over my illustrations in watercolor pencil just to sharpen things up a little bit. You can use regular pencil or acrylic if you would like. I definitely use all three depending on my mood. But this has definitely been a preference of mine for a long time, to finish up all of my art with some sort of pencil work over the top. I'm going to go back in over this vase. Just sharpen up the edges with a bit more darkness. And then in here I could do it as well, but I think this is almost done. And just like that. Look at that. What would be really cool too is to go over this in some shimmers. I do have shimmers on this palette. I'm not sure how they would look. You know what? Let's try them. So if you can see here, I'm going to show you really quickly. I know Alexis does this all the time on her lives when she works with Meeden paints. These actually come out. I don't know if it's going to let me because they're so loved and they're so sticky to each other, but this whole thing actually can come out of here. You see where it's like all sticked in. Yeah. Oh, I almost have it. But anyway, you can pull in movies out, movies around, but they do come with shimmers in the set. I could see myself using a couple of these on top. Let's try it. Let's see how it looks with some shimmer for Meeden. And if we don't like it, then when I paint the next time, we don't do it again, you know? I just don't think there's anything wrong with adding a little sparkle to a painting. So let's put it in here. We'll put it in some of the leaves. Just understand if you've already put watercolor pencil on top, you could end up moving it around by going over it with water again. just so you know, and I know you probably can't see the effect yet, but I promise you it'll be cool when it's done. I think anything shimmery is really cool. I think the only problem, and this is not a you guys problem, this is more of a me problem, shimmers don't show up as well on video unless you've got like natural sunlight streaming into your house. I think it can be harder to show off. All right, so let's put some in here. That was more than I intended, but that actually looks okay. I might use it to do little speckles. And then we'll add a few more in here. It's so quiet because my kids are having dinner. They're not in the family room anymore. Okay, so we've got that. And then let's do something with this. I don't really have a red shimmer on my Meeden palette, but let's try this like pale gold and see if that does anything. Even putting it on top of the red is just going to kind of very softly blend over it. It's not going to be super obvious.
You done?
Am I done? No, I've got like 5% left on my phone. Okay, so I'm going to blow dry this, guys, and then I will show you what the shimmer looks like. If I really wanted to, I could add a little bit. I'm going to do it. I'm going to add a little bit of shimmer to the water because why not? If I'm going to do it everywhere else, spread the love. Okay, and then let's blow dry this little guy. Ah, Tablista. I do have to taunt you. Though these are Meeden shimmers. They're in the paint set, and the paint set's on sale. So if anybody wants them, this is like the best deal I think I've seen. And I'll show you guys one more time before my phone dies. Ooh, guys, these shimmers are so cool. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay. Do you see it? The shimmer on those leaves. It's subtle, but it works. Hi, Devin. And then in the water, again, I don't know, it's subtle, but you can see it, right? I love it in the leaves. I think it looks so good in the leaves, especially the oak leaves. Mm-hmm. In the maple leaves, it's got this like golden red hue because it's such a thinner gold in the Meeden palette. So good. So good. So I'm going to post this on my YouTube later tonight. Hopefully TikTok will let me download it as quickly as I want it to. These were the paints I used today. They are currently on sale for $19.95, I believe. I'm going to close this out so I can show you guys really quickly. So the paints, these are the, no, where are you? Okay, pin. All right, so these are the paints that I used. I just want to make sure I'm telling you which one's which. Okay, so I used the 48. This one's $30 right now. I'm going to tell you, while I love this very much, this is not the deal. The deal are these. And my phone's going to die. But these are the deal. $20 for 48 tube paints. You cannot do better than that. I promise you. So if you're interested, take a look in my shop. I'm going to scoot and go have dinner. I love all of you so much. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And we will chat again soon, I hope. I'll definitely be by Sunday morning, okay? All right. Bye, everybody. Okay? All right. Bye, everybody.